I'm Eggy Drago. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. I'm a part-time video store clerk, a part-time brawler. Oh yeah, and a full-time human being. Wow. When I went to Tokyo back in February 2024, I went to an idol concert on a whim because my VTuber Oshi, who graduated, was into that scene. Needless to say, I got hooked. We bought way too many checkies. So much so that we have 2 checky books. 2 checky namakans. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. After talking to a few idols, I realized every single one of them has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. Learn more about the idol culture, the various scenes around the world, and to give them a platform to tell their stories. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYEZ. An idol who started her journey back in 2023. We'll speak to mspaintpalette about her experience in the kaigai idol scene and her new original song, Enough. All Eyes on Me. IDOLEYEZ, episode 30. mspaintpalette. Tonight. It's loading in. Yeah! Alright. Hello, everybody. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is Mighty Eggy Drago. And we are here for IDOLEYEZ episode 30 with our guest for tonight. She is representing the Garden State. She is the corrupted, colorful idol. She is a powerful dancer. This is Unbreakable mspaintpalette. mspaintpalette, how are you?
That was so sweet. Oh my god, hi. How are you?
I am doing well. How about you?
I am okie dokie artichokey. I don't know why I said that.
But just like everyone for the past month, it's been a long time coming for this interview. I know from Ashes that you've been wanting to be here since, like, I want to say the Royal episode or the Alex Pinku episode, but it's been a while. And now,
yeah,
6 months later, we are here. And yeah, finally, time to finish this story. But we have to bring it back a bit. And every single time, every single guest, I have to take everyone back to the past. And I gotta ask you, who or what got you into idol culture or J-pop culture?
So I guess this has 2 parts, and I think the first part is the obvious Love Live phase. I say phase, but like it became a lifestyle clearly. Like I started with a game actually. I just was like, my friend was like, "This is a cool rhythm game," and I'm like, "Okay, bet." And I was like, "Oh, I kind of like the music. Wow!" And that was like 2014 or 15, playing Sif. Yeah. And then I got into the anime after that.
Ooh.
And like I was a fan of anime, but I actually started with the game just because I like rhythm games and stuff. And then I was like, wow, this is a great anime. My original Oshi was, well, my first one was Kotori, even though like I remember picking Maki when I first played the game, but I was like, I don't know. I Deadass was like, I don't know who any of these people are. I was she seems like she's kind of like the tsundere one, so I was like, I'll just pick her, whatever.
Right.
But Kotori kind of took my heart a bit at the beginning of the anime, and then as it went on, I really like loved Nozomi. I still love those 2 to this day. So, but then Aqua's happened, and that just changed my personality for the rest of my life. And I don't think you could see it, but I have my Yo Watanabe Terra Nesso in here, so I think it says a lot about me. So, and then I didn't really didn't get into a lot of like J-pop outside of that, because like the Love Child franchise just kept coming out with good songs I could play on repeat, and I had like other genres of music I also enjoyed. Like we'll probably talk about this later, but like I'm a huge punk rock fan, for example, so I would switch between cutesy Love Live J-pop and emo music, so which is hilarious. But and in terms of like idols outside of like that sphere, I at Otakon 2022, I saw Alexis, like Little Pastel Idol Alexis perform, and I was like she blew me away. She was so like talented, and I felt that same kind of like inspiration and like I don't know, Genki feeling, I guess, that I got when I got into like Muse and Aquas for the first time. And I was like, "Oh my god, like I can do this shit. Why not?" So I didn't think that it was a space that existed until basically 2.5 years ago. And basically since that, I was like, "Yep, I want to do this." And I prepped for a long time, and I debuted, and now I'm here, basically.
So it was definitely that Alexis performance that was, I guess, your canon event basically that
Yeah,
really
oh, for sure. And she knows this. I've told her, because we were in a cosplay group together at the time, so I knew her from that. And she was like, "Oh, I'm doing my own little solo thing," and I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'll go to support." And this was my first time back in the convention community, in 2022 in a long time. Not just because of COVID, but like pre-COVID, I was in college, and I didn't have time for anything in college. So fun fact about me, not to flex, but I've earned it, so I'm gonna flex a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't have a double major. I have like 2 bachelor's degrees.
What?
Yeah, like 2 separate diplomas. And yeah, so like I did not exist outside in the world.
You were like deep
Um,
in education.
yes. I was good at school, so I did school. And well, I'm getting off topic, but so this was like kind of one of my first, that Otakon was like one of my first really big conventions outside of like Anime NYC. It was like my first time traveling to a con. It was like a first for a lot of things coming out of college, and seeing that that was a thing I could do, and like now having the like time and availability to do it was like, wow, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do, and I don't care what people say about it.
Well, I do want to ask, like, after
Yeah.
Alexis's performance, like, when did you start like prepping? I guess like doing, or like, prepping like vocals or like dancing or anything.
So I started prepping for my what ended up being my debut show, like the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. And I spent time, like I have a long history of just performing in general. Like I have a history in musical theater, choir. So a lot of that kind of training I didn't do as much of. And in hindsight I should have, because like I didn't realize how different the stamina difference would be. And then I did my big debut and I was like, "Oh my god. This is not the same as being on stage for a 3-hour musical." I thought it would be for some reason, and it was not, because all your attention's on you. You don't have like other people to rely on for like all eyes are on you all the time, so you always have to be engaging. So, but in terms of other prep I did, I spent a lot of time figuring out like what my name was gonna be, what my image color. It's rainbow. It's not even a real color, I guess, but what my image color would be, and the kind of like vibe I wanted to go for. And I spent a lot of time just prepping that, and just like a couple of songs that I could learn and perform. Like I debuted not even thinking about doing original music at that point.
I see. Well, segueing into I guess MS Paint Palette, I do want to ask, like, where did you get the name from? It's very unique compared to like everyone,
Yes,
because like you
it
got
is.
like, for example, Marmalade got her name from like an actual like Marmalade Jam. Aiden, all caps, that's their name. Alex
Yeah.
Piku is just Alex, and then their favorite like kaigai group. What about you?
So, I wanted to avoid using. I go by Marie. You're free to welcome. You refer to me as like Marie or MS Paint, by the way, at any point. But I didn't want my actual name to be associated with my idol persona, like at all, if I could help it. So, um, and if I could just go by like MS Paint, that would be Chef's Kiss. But that's unfortunately not something you can like Google and be like, "Ah, yes, I found her." Like, no, you're gonna find the
The
program,
program.
MS Paint. So I had to find something to make it not just MS Paint. MS Paint was like a handle, like a gamer handle slash tag, whatever I've used for a long time for a variety of different reasons. And I kind of wanted to retain a little bit of that with me, but there's some other things I thought about going into it that also tied into like the image I wanted to present. And one thing is I love technology. I work in technology for a living, so I like the kind of retro throwback nostalgia of it, because I kind of like my first exposure to technology was like when my dad would work. We had like a computer at home, and I would just like mess around with it. And I was like way too young to do like most of the things that even came stock on that computer. Like it had like the solitaire and the minesweeper. I did not know how to play minesweeper back
No,
then. I don't think a
I
lot
don't
of
either.
people did, frankly. Well, like I couldn't play solitaire. I was like maybe 3 years old. I was very young. But what can a 3-year-old do? Draw an MS Paint. And I had some like fond memories of doing that. And I think some of those experiences with my dad growing up, in part led me to like um growing into like somebody that likes working with technology and doing technological things. And then where the palette thing comes in, because it's not because I can't draw. I can't draw for shit. That is not my art whatsoever. I can do a lot of things. Drawing is not one of them, respectfully. But with the palette thing, I remember struggling figuring out what image color I could evoke, because I mean, you know this, a lot of like groups, each color represents like the type of idol that's in that group. Like the red one's like the fiery one, orange is like an energetic one, the blue is the cool one, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I didn't really see myself as any of those like color types of idols. I guess silver or gray kind of would be one, but to me I'm like, that's a boring color. So I was like, why can't I have all the colors? So and that rainbow aspect, I really like the idea of like um that being my name, because I feel like it represents the complexity I have as a human. And that's not to say that like idols aren't complex or anything like that. Obviously we're all like real people,
Yeah.
but I wanted to like keep that as like a performer, rather than like, I guess, figuring out how to hone in on something. You know what I mean? I was like, why would I like force myself to pigeonhole myself and like clock myself as like, I don't know, the green idol, right? Like
Right.
I couldn't do that and like feel genuine about it. I'm a very like honest, upfront person. You could probably tell by the way I talk that I'm like that. So I don't really hold back very much. Sometimes I have to. I struggle sometimes,
Yeah.
but um but oh my god. Sorry, I tend to go off the rails with my train of thought. Oh, my idol name. So, in addition with like the rainbow of complexity, with that same pigeonhole, I also at the time was like, I don't even know what genre I would want to focus on, because like I mentioned earlier, like I love rock music, I love punk music, and I also love like J-pop, like idol music, and I like even that classic like AK-48, AKB48 kind of style J-pop
Right.
versus like the more modern like J-rock kind of style. Like I love Kenshi. I love like King GNU. I don't know how to
GNU.
pronounce
I had
it.
to say GNU.
Yeah, is it
But
is it GNU,
I
like
think
the GNU compiler? Oh my god, no, not the tech joke. Oh, oh no. So like Arashi, Queen Bee, things like that. And I like musical theater soundtracks too. So it's like I like at this time I was like, why would I choose what I want to do when I don't even know that like for myself yet? And I feel like now that I'm doing it, I kind of see where I'm leaning towards as a performer musically, based on like how my first song came out. But at that time I was like, I don't even know what genre of music I want to do. So you know what? We're gonna explore a bunch of different genres, because again, why limit myself? I feel like idling is a space that allows for that, versus like being a standard like independent musician, for example. And it's something I really like about like considering myself an idol, you know what I mean?
Right. I see. I guess like yeah, the your background in technology definitely inspired your name, and I guess the concept too.
Yeah,
Basically, like, yeah, like even in the enough like album cover, you can see like it's the
I mean,
the Windows XP like wallpaper, and then the Windows, yeah. So
yeah, yeah, that was very very intentional. Like I knew from the start exactly like what I wanted for that. And yeah, I'm not a graphic designer either. I didn't do the artwork. If anyone's interested in the artist, I have her credited like on my website for like the the actual chibi of me. It's not really a chibi, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the actual like layout and stuff, I was like, okay, me and Canva did that. So yeah. I was like, look at me go, look at me designing stuff. So it's fun. I really like how it came out. It's yeah. I'm really happy. Sorry.
Well, going back to the past again. We talked about your debut prep, how you like started to prep around late 2022, early 2023, and then you debut at Otakon. Now presenting Idol Festival 2023. How did you get that the opportunity to be a part of that?
Girl, ask the
show?
people that accepted me. I don't know how that happened. Because even prior to then, I only did like 1 or 2 like cosplay performances outside of that. I don't even remember like what I even applied with that on. Like I don't even know what I. I don't even remember actually. Now that I think about it, but I do know. I know her better now. I don't think I knew her back then, but I know the person who is sort of like the mastermind staff member behind that, and I guess maybe she saw something in me. Maybe that's something I'll ask her at some point. But I did like 1 masquerade performance at a local convention called Castle Point Anime in 2022, and I did like dance to it, and I did lip sync over my own singing vocals, which like not a lot of people do for a masquerade, but uh, I didn't realize I could idol, I think, or like I wasn't ready to idol at that point, so I did it as a cosplay thing. And I don't know, maybe somebody from there saw that and they were like, oh, maybe they would be a good performer. Who knows? I really don't know. But I think somebody must have like saw me somehow and believed in me, and that opportunity just worked out. And if it wasn't at that point that I debuted, I would have just kept applying for stuff to debut at some point, and I would have made it happen eventually.
Because like Rena Keaton, who was also on the show, made her Idol debut at Otakon, now presenting this year, and her reasoning was like she flew from Seattle to the East Coast to do her debut because she didn't want anyone that knew her to like to see her if she like screwed up or whatever. But like, what about you? What like really got you? What did you want from this debut, and like why specifically Otakon?
Well, I guess I got my start with idols outside of Love Live at Otakon in the prior year. So it would be pretty fitting to, do it the year after. And even if it wasn't the year after, like it's a nice, I think it's a coincidence, but it's nice that the con I kind of got started at and the con that I learned so much about idol culture outside of the world of anime was the same convention that gave me the opportunity to perform that dream. Maybe I wrote about that in my application. Who knows? But I don't know. Maybe I wrote something really like but like I also did I do remember when I applied, I wrote about like, this is my idol debut, but this isn't like my performance debut. I've been on stage a lot. I have been singing and dancing for many years, mostly singing. I consider myself like a singer above all, which is why I don't always like go full out on dancing and choreo in a lot of my live shows anymore. Say anymore like I started. Oh well. I think in my debut I did more of it because I felt like I had to dance to be like a valid idol, and then I was like, I don't have to do anything. I think I'm good enough. Song mention, song name. Bro, anytime I say the word enough now, I'm like,
stream enough.
That's a song. So, yeah.
So yeah, I was gonna ask like prior to like the idol debut, I was gonna ask like if you performed prior to that, but like yeah, you did say like you did musicals, you did like,
a lot.
Okay, yeah. So yeah.
No, you go. Sorry.
So with that, like with the performance, I guess like before that, how did you what made you decide like the set list? Because like it is a very
debut set list.
It's a very like different variety of stuff here. You got Idol, of course, people know. It was a hot
well,
song
that was the point. I wanted it to be genre
Yeah.
whiplash, and trust me, I want to continue to do genre whiplash whenever possible, because that's kind of the person I am. I think it says a lot about me, my set list. I'll start with Idol. That's a song that um I mean, I wasn't super confident. This is like one of the few performances that I've like done lip syncing to, and I don't think there's any shame in lip syncing, especially when you're dancing a whole time, right?
Yeah.
You can't do both. It's very difficult, I should say, to do both at 100% the same time. If you put more into singing, less has to come out of dancing, and vice versa. That it's math. It's math. And I didn't want to mess it up. And again, at this point, I felt like I had to do some kind of choreography, and I was like, okay, well, this is a crowd pleaser. It's relevant to now, and if I do this later, it'll people are already tired of it now, right? So I wanted to take the opportunity while it was still like kind of hype and relevant for that one. And also I was like, I know I can sing this if I like work on it. And admittedly, I think that's a very difficult song just to sing on its own. And I was like, I could at least do a short version of this. Like, I know I can. And I still think I did it pretty well. I think now, a year later, I could probably do it even better just because of how much I've worked on being an idol specifically, and like that kind of stamina you need to be an idol. But I'm already sick of that song.
I am too.
I know, I love Yoasobi. I love her other stuff too, but like even I got tired of it. And yeah, I was like, okay, all right. So I'm glad I did it when I was not tired of it, for sure. Then the Goyo Machine Yawase, the Noragami opening. Oh, it's just so like, good. It's just a fucking good song, and I've been like, that has been in my head on my fucking Spotify for like already 10 years at that point. So I kind of already knew a lot of the melody and the words. I just kind of had to like perfect it and add a little choreography to it. So it was like, okay, I don't need to like, at least from a vocal standpoint, do a lot of work to make this work. I was very like strategic about this. Maybe I wasn't really emotional about a lot of my picks. I am getting a little more emotional as things go on, but for my first one, I was like, okay, it's kind of important. And I wanted it to be genre whiplash, but I wanted it to be like good. I kind of want to show like, look at the variety of things I can do. It's just like, I wish I could do all the stuff I want. I can't always. So I love that song personally, and that was like the rock song that I ended up picking for that set. Then for Prima Donna Girl, I was actually like, I like Mariana's music. I didn't get into it when she was like at the peak of her like career, I think, but it was a song it was in English first of all. I was like, please give me one English speaking song. I can like sing in Japanese. You've heard me, you've seen the videos, but I just know how to sing in English so well. And there's other languages I know how to sing in very well. Like I can sing in Spanish and Latin, and like I kind of know it. But Japanese, I still sometimes, even though I've been singing in Japanese since like, I want to say 2017 is when I started like trying to learn Japanese covers. I still sometimes I'm like, what? Huh? I'm like looking at Romanji and I'm like, but this doesn't match what the song is doing, and this singer has a dialect and it doesn't match, and I don't know what to do. So I was just like, I need one English song. I wanted one song from like that era where she was popular, because like I was in that crowd of like emo kids. Emo kids also liked Marina, I think. And so it was like, this song kind of slays. It's kind of cunty. But not too cunty. Sorry, I could say that.
You
here,
say
right?
that, yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
I was like,
right.
I'm not expecting that.
That was like my cunty pick. So I had my J-poppy pick, my rock pick. This was like my cunty girl pick. I feel like it has a diva energy, and I kind of just wanted to use my idol like activity, persona, etc., whatever you want to call it, to like have my little moment of, you know. I'm sorry. And then Hikaru Nara, again, a song I've known for like, at that point, practically 10 years. I practically knew all the words and the melody already at that point. And that anime is really close to my heart. Like, if you want to learn about my personal like lore and trauma, you can watch that anime and be like, oh god, is she okay? And it's one of my favorite songs to end with. It's like the one song of those of those four, it's the one song I've performed again and will continue to perform again because I sing it well. I think it fits really well in my voice. It doesn't require a lot of like physical dancing, and it's such a good like end of set, like okay, thanks for coming, bye everybody kind of song. And I thought it would be good to close out with that. And I did short versions of all the songs because I was like, full version,
No.
no. Also because sometimes when I watch a performance as an audience member for idols, depending on the kind of song, if it's not something that's like super woatable that keeps you engaged the whole song, it feels like kind of repetitive to watch it. I'm like, okay, this chorus is the same as the last one. Like, I get it. But maybe that's just me having a short attention span and wanting to cater to people like me that also have a short attention span. And they're like, great, I got the point. Next song. So, and it allowed me to fit more songs in by doing a shorter set. So that was another aspect I thought of.
Yeah, like doing research for this episode and watching the debut set, I definitely wasn't expecting the first Noragami OP because people always know Kyoran Hey Kids, the second
That's
season
also
one.
a bop,
It's
and
good.
I also want to do that one. But
So,
the
like,
OG was equally as good.
Yeah, so I was not expecting the first OP. So I was like, oh my god, wow. Recognition for that one. And then Hikaru Nara, really good. I was not expecting Prima Donna Girl or Prima Donna by Marina and Diamonds. I have not heard that song since like I want to say middle school. So I was like, what? What? But yeah, I was like, what?
Yeah, at some point, like a couple of months before I ended up doing this, like the song came back into my life, and I was like, I could do this as an idol too. Why not? So, it kind of worked out. But yeah, prior to hearing it a couple of months before my debut, same thing. I had not heard it since like middle school. I don't know what brought it back into my life, but something did. For the better, I guess.
So, you performed. You did full set. Well, shortened versions. Full set technically. Going off stage, what were your immediate thoughts about your performance?
Oh my god, that I was tired as hell. But I thought that it went well. I don't think it went badly. I remember I tend to remember whenever I'm done with a performance, everything I did wrong. That's always my first thought in my head. I'm always really critical. But I remember just, I don't know, I had a lot of fun and I thought I did well, which was kind of weird because usually I'm like, well, that sucked. Usually when I like do anything, I'm like, let me do this. It's gonna be great. And then I do it and I'm like, oh, that was interesting. But I don't know. I had so much fun that like I didn't really care about the mistakes that I ended up making, or like me looking back at the audio going, oh my god, look at me, lol, so cringe. Ugh. So yeah, I don't know. That's probably what I thought. It was like a year ago now.
Yeah, a year. I mean, like, yeah, been a year. You have tenure now, so yeah. Retrospect or
Ooh.
hindsight is 2020 or something like that. But yeah, good to know. Like, of course, I don't know what the quote is, but I always say it. But like, you're always gonna be the harshest critic of yourself, for sure.
Oh yeah, you're your worst judge.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah.
I sure am.
But yeah,
To say that again.
especially for me, like even for me, like even if I'm not an idol, like I'm pretty critical about myself and about the stuff I do. But like yeah, but honestly, you did great for a debut. You did great. So I guess immediately after that, after Otakon, like what performances did you like start doing?
So I think the one I immediately did after that was Northwest Idol Fest, and I'll tell you right now, don't even. I think I posted it because
You did, yeah.
I've been trying to work on. I did. So I've been trying to work on putting content out there, even if I don't, no pun intended, think it's good enough, and trying to like work on my like tendency for perfectionism, because like for me it's like I should be doing the thing because I like doing the thing, not to have it be like perfect all the time. And I want, I guess, other people to like learn that too, and like be able to see my growth over time too as an idol. So I was like, even though I thought my NWIF performance was a hot mess, I still put it out there. I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna do it. And a lot of things like I think contributed to that with just I didn't start preparing a lot of that until like after Otakon. So like there was not enough time. I was trying to do new stuff instead of trying to use things I knew better to begin with. I was like way too ambitious about it. I was like, okay, this is gonna be my Annie song, and this is gonna be my rock song, and this is gonna be my blah blah song. And also, I was working the convention that year on top of that. So I was just tired from staffing the full weekend. By the time Sunday came around, I was beyond exhausted. But I still went up there and I did it, and I'm proud that I did it despite the trials and tribulations leading up to it. So I put it out there, but it was not great.
It was fine. It was fine. It was fine.
I mean, you saw it.
I saw it.
Compared to the debut, it was like it just objectively weaker. And again, I'm a harsh critic of myself, but like if it's facts, it's facts, you know? Um yeah. And then what did I do after that? Oh, I think after that I did Anime NJ plus plus. I'm not doing that this year. Contrary to popular belief. But last year I did an hour-long set there, and it was funny because it was an hour, and to fill some of the time I did something called, and I do intend to bring this back at some point in a performance that is the right time and place for it. I did song gotcha, where for 3 songs I had a playlist of 30 songs, and I had the audience pick a random number, and my like AV person basically would play that song and I'd have to just like sing along to it. So randomly, yeah,
like, off the rip, you like
yeah. And the video's up. You could watch it. So I picked 30 songs that I'm like, I think I could do this with like little to no like singing rehearsal, period. So yeah. I think the 3 songs were 1985 by Bowling for Soup.
Okay.
And I almost got all the words. I was like, wow, I'm surprised I really did know all the words to this song. Jingle Bell Rock, because this was a late December con, so I put Christmas songs in there, and I had fun with that one. I think it's a cutesy song. I love Christmas music, by the way, so yeah. And then it was Let It Go from Frozen, and I feel like it's been enough time that I could sing that now, and honestly, I really popped off with that one. I did not think I was going to be as good as it was, but then I looked back at it and I'm like, oh, wow, like, I don't sound half bad doing this. Like, okay, Disney princess, wow. So those were my song gotcha songs. And then what else did I sing? I realized I could recycle songs at this point, and it's not cheating to recycle songs. So I think I did Gowara Yasuki, which I think I performed at NOIF at that point. So I was like, okay, well, I did it once, even though it wasn't good. Like, time to redeem myself. I did, oh my god, what's the name of it? It's the Aqua's winter one. It goes, Kimi no negai hoshiga miteru yo.
I don't know the name, actually.
It's Seinaru something. I don't know. What's Japanese? I don't know her. Sorry, I'm like playing with my fidget toy while we do this. Don't mind me. LMAO. What else did I sing? Oh my god. I don't remember. The set list is up there. But yeah, I sang like 8 or 9 songs in an hour, and like again, I'm a singer above other things, and I had a wired microphone. I couldn't dance at all, even if I wanted to, and like I did not want to. So I was like, thank God. So I did all that, and I know how to sing through an hour without getting like vocally fatigued. So I was like, okay, if I could do this, I just have to learn how to like, you know, if I want to do this long of a set next time, like a Techo, for example, how to like pace that with like dancing and like having more stage presence. So, but yeah, literally it was a room with like maybe 6 people max. I did not have a big turnout or audience, and I don't know, I had a really fun time. Maybe it's because I just had a small audience and it was very low pressure. And I don't know, it was really what's the word I'm looking for? Energizing, motivating, inspiring, one of those words. Yeah. So, what did I do after? I did Katsucon. That's another one that I worked the convention, and by the time I had to perform, I was already exhausted, and like I did my best and I put it out there regardless. I think after that I did Castle Point anime, and that was a pretty decent show. I had a nice stage and like decent lights and everything. I had a really nice turnout, like a much bigger turnout than I expected, but it's local to me, so I guess local cosplayers that I knew in the community were all like, "Oh my god, it's her. Wow, like we know her." So it was really nice, and I did mess up like one song so badly that when the video gets posted soon, I like cut it out entirely. I'm like, I'm sorry. I fumbled the bag so hard on kickback every time I've performed it that I'm like, you know what? Maybe we put her away for now. It's just this one section that's really difficult, like for me to remember the words to, and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Um, after Castle Point, what did I do?
I think like what was it? CPAC was definitely so my friend Andrew, aka Ando, he was like photographer Aiden's B-Day live, and like he's always there at the East Coast shows. But like he went to CPAC, and then like I was still looking for guests for Idolize, and like he went to like some of the shows. That's how I discovered Royal, and that's how I discovered you from him. So yeah, you were definitely on the shortlist forever. I'm really sorry it took this long, but like yeah.
It be like that sometimes. But now that I have a song out, I think it works for me better anyway. So, oh my god, yay! Somebody was like, "Oh, she was kind of good, yay!"
Yeah.
But like at that point, like even though I fumbled kind of hard at like Nuif and Katsu, I think I kind of needed those experience as a learning takeaway to be like, okay, here's what I don't do next time. Not just like purely skill wise, but like in terms of preparing for a show physically and mentally also, and knowing like what I need to be like at peak, so to speak, for performances.
I see. So boom, CPAC. Wait, Katsu, CPAC, and then I think like
Let's see, May I didn't do anything May because I was running a show. June I didn't do anything. That was Natsumatsuri month. Then July was Tekko. So Tekko would have been my next one. That video is also in the process of being edited because I don't really like video editing. It's not my thing. So somebody else is doing it for me.
Yeah.
Shout out to Royal, who's doing it for me. Thank you. We have an agreement, you know. You already know. So, that'll be out eventually. CPAC first, though. I gotta be chronological. And that was my 45-minute set. And that was probably, like, one of my best shows, like, to date, in all honesty. That, or, like, even my most recent Otakon, like, those two were really good. Oh my god, I forgot a complete convention. I did like 4 shows at Hall Mat.
What?
Okay, so not 4, like 3. So I did one each day of the convention in a separate like space. So, and I only went to Hall Mat because that weekend it's on, that's right before Christmas. That's my birthday weekend. And that was my widow gift to myself. I'm like, let's go to Florida and go to Hall Mat and go see the idols. Like, so I went, and it was my first Hall Mat. But like obviously I was gonna try to perform too. And I didn't perform like on the big Hall Mat stage, but I did do Hall Mat was really cool in the sense that they had a lot of like panelist run idol festivals where like a group came in and ran it as a panel basically, but they still got like a stage and a sound system and not just like, you know, like a panel room, right? So I did one with a group called the Twisted Idols. They run the Sensational Idol Festival. I think they're Midwest based, and they ran like a mini version here at Halt Mat. I think that was Wednesday. On Thursday, I did the Lumika stage in the dealer's room, and that one, since I knew I wasn't gonna get an idol crowd, I did all like non-idol music. I kind of went crazy with that one, and those videos are up too. They were pretty fun, but like again, it's the dealer's room, so people are usually just like walking by and not like paying attention to you. So, but I still had a good time. And then I did the Sunny Bunnies group had another idol festival on that Friday, and that day was my actual birthday. So it was like my little birthday live for myself. And like again, I re-sang some songs that like I fumbled at and with, and I did them much better this time around. Like I think like Ikanai Borderline from Across Delta, if you know that song. Again, yeah, so I did that, and like that went over like pretty well. Again, a short version. Um, I love my short versions. I know that's not fun for Woda to be doing short versions all the time, but I try to pack so many songs in that I'm like short version, short version. So I'm struggling out here trying to do full length songs. And yes, so that I skipped that in my lore. Like I did a lot of performances between my debut and now. Like a lot. More I think than a normal person should or would. So I don't regret it though. I had a great time. I'm still having a great time.
For sure. I guess like every single convention or like every single performance is different, because like you did say, like when you were doing the Lumica like dealer's room one, it was just all non-idol, and then you did some crowd pleasers for some specific events, but like what really like goes through your head while planning a set list?
I guess now that I have songs in my back pocket, so to speak, it's a mix of what songs from my back pocket am I gonna pull and what new things do I want to do. And like literally, I have a Spotify playlist. It's just called "Want to Cover," not creative at all. When I tell you, it has songs I've already learned on it too. But when I tell you that has 100 like songs on it that are all songs I want to perform as MS Paint Palette, like I'm not exaggerating. Let me get you the exact number. It might be 70 something. Maybe I am, but like I like to be accurate. I like numbers. I like data. Facts. Let's see. I'm literally just gonna pull it up on my phone. Want to Cover is 7 hours and 5 minutes, but how many songs is that? Right. Again, including full versions, but like there's Auto on here, other Yoasobi songs. I've been wanting to do Yoru ni Kakeru since before I debuted, and it just still hasn't happened. The cards haven't been right, the vibes haven't been there. I can't tell you. Rosalia and Reza Sulian songs are on here. Because again, I like that kind of rock slash, I guess kind of Rosalia is kind of like new visual K. I'm a fan of Porno Graffiti. There's some songs from there, some anime songs. Tokyo Seventh Sister songs. Oh my god, nobody knows freaking Tokyo Seventh Sister except like 3 people, and I just grabby. Let's see. Oh, I have to do WoW War tonight. It's a must. I have to do it at some point. Even if it's for the meme. And then there's some like American punk rock songs on here. And there's some songs that are like from like American cartoons that are not anime. Like I sang Poison from Has Been Hotel. I sang one of the fucking songs from the fucking Trolls movie that came out. Yeah. I sang it at like Otakon. A video will be up soon, but like I literally sang one of the Trolls movie songs, and because it was cunty, it was so good. It's Watch Me Work if you don't know the song, but if you look it up, it's really like da 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 da. I don't know. I think I slayed it. People were I had to be like, stick with me, stay with me. But this song hits, and I don't care that it's from the Trolls movie. So, like I said, I'm like so all over the place. Yeah, there's like Fall Out Boy and Paramore here. Some All Time Low. I've sung My Chemical Romance before.
Yeah, that's on I think the Katsucon set. You did like one MCR song. I was like, oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, I sang that at Aiden's birthday live too. I probably sang it better at Aiden's birthday live, mind you. I remember performing that at Katsu, and just because of the way the room and the audio was set up, like I could not hear myself singing it like whatsoever. So I was just like, well, I know this song so well that we're just gonna be like, where's that? But I think it was also really a good hit at Aiden's birthday live. It was like I said, it was like the right crowd for it. And part of me is like, oh, I want to be different. But then I'm like, oh, well, here's one crowd pleaser. And then here's one that is not a crowd pleaser. So, a little bit of flash, a little bit of fun stuff. So yeah, I have a lot of different things I want to do. Oh, Persona songs. I have to find the right set list, but I'd love to just do like, maybe for an anime convention, like a Persona themed set. because a lot of those songs are hard to like incorporate in an idol style performance. Like you can't woda to your affection, your affection. Like I don't know if you know Persona songs.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you don't, this is weird. Okay,
Yeah.
right? They're not those types of songs.
It's not
They're not.
really.
They're
It's
video
not-
game songs.
it's not
They're not
mixable,
meant
no.
to be.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, but like, do I want to do a Persona set? Like, absolutely. But like, just I have all these ideas. I have all these like ambitions and all these goals, and I have like this amount of time and this amount of resources. So, I don't know. What goes through my mind is I'll just do whatever I want. Man. I don't know. I know that's not marketable, I guess, but like I don't know. That's not what I'm trying to do here. I guess it'd be nice. Well, you go. Sorry.
It's the idol space. Like anyone can do whatever. It's whatever.
Mhm.
It's fine. No one has to like
Yeah.
follow the status quo. It's totally fine.
Yeah, exactly. And trust me, I'm like purposefully not following the status quo. Like for enough, for example, I might be jumping ahead a little bit. I'm working on a custom like mix for it. Maybe announcing it now will make me feel brave enough to actually like follow through with the idea. And I've talked to some people about it because I want it to be something that's like an English mix, but still something with the same Chica spirit, the same Woda spirit. And I think I'm gonna make a serotonin call mix, and we'll just yell out a bunch of different drug names to the song. No, I'm so serious. I am so serious right now. I've been so scared about it. I've been postponing. It's like sitting in my Google Drive, and I'm like, what if people are offended? What if people don't understand what I'm trying to do? But it fits with like the themes
does,
of
yeah.
my song. Yeah. And I think it's also something that like if you want to have a hype song that talks about like mental health, you could like kind of reuse the mix for that if it follows like the same like 8 count, 16 count, etc. like structure. So but like yeah, I've been cooking, but I've been cooking so scared. I talk big, like yeah, I got all these plans, I got all these things, and then when I actually have to do them, I'm like, oh, but what if people don't like it? Oh no, what if it's not good enough? I swear I don't do this on purpose. There's a reason I wrote this song.
I mean, might as well just segue into it because like last
sure.
month, October 9th, a few days before New If, you released Enough.
Sure did.
When did you first like think about making an original song? Because you've been doing a lot of covers since debut and then up to then.
Yeah.
So like when did you like first decide you wanted an original?
Right. So I love doing covers. I will continue to do covers. But very early on, I realized if I want more opportunities to perform down the road, I'm going to have to make my own song. And going into it, I was like, do I want to go down this route? I wasn't sure. I think I could have been okay just doing covers for forever. Like, sorry, was gonna get off topic. I'm gonna stay focused.
I mean,
Stay on
you could derail if you want.
Well,
It's
I
totally
was trying
fine.
to say, like, I did, before performing live, like, back when I was in late high school, still in college, I did, like, online covers. I was a little more involved in, like, the V-singer community back then than I am now. And trust me, I love performing live. I want to keep doing this. But, like, back then, I didn't have, like, the opportunities to perform live. So, like, I did a lot of covers that either got released with the group I used to be in or just recorded them on my phone and like let them blow away into dust. So I probably could have been well, because like they're on my phone, they're not like well recorded for like posting, right? And
Right.
I don't really know how to mix very well yet keyword. So I don't know, could I have just done it forever? Sure, but like I think I wanted to try it. I was like, well, let me see if I could write something that I think can actually be a song. Like, we'll go from there. And I think around January of this year, so like 9 months ago from now, I finished writing the lyrics. I had like some ideas and scraps of lyrics, and at some point in January, I was in my feelings about it. I was like, I suck. Wah. So I wrote this basically, and then I made it like good. Like I kind of have to word vomit when writing lyrics and then kind of edit it into the song and figure out like where the holes are that I need to fill in. And I don't know how the melody came to me, like the top line, the da 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 da. I don't know how it came to me. It just kind of did. Would like I was sad at night, and then I was like, wait, that's kind of like not bad. And then like I took my phone and like I'm just like laying in bed and I kind of like sang it into my voice memos, and then I went to sleep. And I've done that a bunch before, but I've never actually like woke up in the morning again and was like going to follow through on it. And this time I did. I was like, no, I still think this kind of hits. I think this is actually kind of catchy. I think like there's a song here, and then I put it together. Um, and yeah, so it started with just I guess coming up with stuff, and that was about January when like the concept and the idea was whatever, I don't know. Sorry, I just saw in the chat of how many bangers are hiding in my voice
He
memos.
really wants you to release them, so
Since January, low key, like a lot of upcoming songs are like pre-planned. It's just again, ideas big, time and resources very small. So, um, like you know, I can't do like my own instrumentals, even though I knew like very clearly like how I wanted to sound and like even like the tempo I wanted it. I just can't like do the thing. I don't know how, and maybe again, maybe I can learn one day. But I think for my first song, I was like, I want it to be kind of, I guess, more polished, even though it's a first song and it's not going to be perfect or whatever. And I guess this kind of goes into like then looking for the composer slash producer that I picked. His name is Mika Hammy, and he is the goat. I found him through the International Idol Network like thing, and I think I literally just put in like the for hire chat like, hey, looking for a producer. It's gonna have a J-rock kind of energy, but it's an idol song. Hit me up if that's your vibe. And Mika was actually the only one who like hit me up, and he was like, hey, well, here's my portfolio, like take a look. And by the way, you should check out his stuff. And I checked out his stuff and I was like, you understand, you got the same like brain cell, like I think you got it. And then, you know, we talked about it. We did our business talks, and he popped off with this, and I was like, yes, it sounds so good. Like it made my little thing I was saying to my phone sound like an actual song now, and I was like, whoa, you did the thing. Like I don't know how, but you did it. Whoa. And so that was kind of, I guess, the process. And like, you know, we each have our own lives, so like I would have to like record vocals, and then he would like not only have to do the instrumentals but then mix the vocals that I record into the song, and then boop, final product. So, and I think that was finished by like August, and then at that point it was just like putting it out into the world. And I did maybe strategically pick the NWIF week, so when I went to NWIF, I could tell people, "Oh my god, you know, by the way, I just released a song." Like that was very intentional. And a lot of people had the same idea as me, and were smart, and were like, "Yeah, let's." Yeah, no, Peggy, no, other people did too. Either like right before or right after.
Yeah.
Even Phoebe for Your Harmony, she's been performing it for like
a while,
months now,
since like July. Yeah,
actually no, I heard it in June.
Oh, late June.
And
yeah,
she performed in one, and she did it one other time before that I wasn't there for. That was the first time I heard it. But like she released it after NWIF, which was also probably like a strategic move based on like, you know what I'm saying, like business and math.
Yeah. Like business. If everyone knows you from NWIF, and you might as well just drop something. So
right, exactly. So I feel like there was more people, but I can't think. I made a Twitter thread at the time because I was like, okay, there's actually a lot of idols releasing their music, including me, but there's actually a lot of idols releasing their music. So yeah, I feel like I've gone really far off from whatever the original question was.
It was just like, when did you first decide making original song, and then you went through everything. So
yeah,
I guess a little bit, like filling in the details. So do you have like any prior experience with writing lyrics prior to this?
Nope.
No,
not at all. I've never even been like a writer, period. I'm a talker. I am very good at like these type of things, like interview things and speaking off the top of my head and like acting or whatever. That like when I have to speak and make it come out of my mouth, it comes very well to me. But like when I have to like actually narrow my ideas down onto a piece of paper, I'm like I don't know. I need a paper prop. I need a math prop. I need like because like now it's like I can't just like I have to like actually focus my ideas into something that is like readable, and that's something that is like difficult for me. Like I was never good at writing essays in school, for example, because they'll be like, girl, you all over the place, what are you even saying? And I'm like, well, because there's a lot of things because of A and a B and of C. So yeah, no, I my writing experience was journaling when I was sad and whatever school made me do, and that's it. So, but I guess I write a lot when I'm sad. I have actually, this is funny. I've kept all of my old, I call them my depression journals, but like all the like diary slash journals or whatever I've kept from when I was like 12 years old to 18 years old. No, I have multiple books, bro.
Oh my
I got
god.
like no, I have 7 or 8 books of when I'm sad and I don't know what therapy or medicine is yet kind of books. Um and I've always kept them around thinking maybe one day these will be useful for music. But even for this, I didn't reference those at all. These were just feelings I felt like right now. Also, thank you, Pangy. I didn't think that would surprise people. I thought my lyrics were pretty like, I don't know.
I like them. Like
Yeah.
it's different from mostly everyone.
I guess I
so-
feel like I'm not poetic. I'm very like straightforward and like blunt. And I don't mind that that's how it comes off in my songs because like that's how the person I am is. But like, I don't know. I didn't think it was bars. I don't know. People are like, "Wow, this is bars," and I'm like, "Oh, really? I don't know." Thank you, Pengy. I'm sorry, I keep seeing her little thing pop up, and I'm like, "Ah, thank you."
so the song was definitely inspired by like I guess like past experiences for sure.
Yeah, mental health. You know, my mental health can be kind of, you know, not
Yeah.
cool, but like
Yeah.
it's a part of me. That's a part of my life. That's kind of where like the corrupted program idol comes from, because I am genuinely like a bubbly, like excitable, extroverted person, but I also do be sad. So I really like the idea of like, here's my upbeat song about how awful I feel. Yippee! That was a great song, guys. Let's move on to the next one. You know,
it's like Yoasobi with like
I mean, yeah,
Yuri
basically.
Kakaru. Hey, it's happy,
Yeah.
but it's also about falling off a building. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of songs that are like that. I just feel mine was really like extreme in both the upbeatness and extreme in like the topic. It was very polarizing, I think. But I was like, good. And if you like that, the next song that I'm working on is also upbeat, but the lyrics are, oh wow, society, am I right, lads? So yeah, so kawaii to be depressed.
You did say like it was very you wanted from the producer very J rock heavy or inspired
Yeah.
song. Did you have like any influences or like any specific songs that you wanted to like pull from for this?
Oh, I've sent them a reference like playlist. I wonder if I still have it. Let me see if I have it. Still in my tippy types. Don't
Hey,
mind
chat.
me.
How you doing? Did you eat breakfast? Dinner? Lunch? I don't know what time you're in.
Imagine breakfast.
I mean, like we got some international viewers. We got some
Oh.
Aussies, right? Yeah. Doki's
Okay, so
here.
you know, do you know the Wonderful Rush heavy metal mix?
Oh yeah,
The one
yeah.
that's like, but I got a Wonderful Rush. And it's like, ow! Oh my god, I hit my finger too hard playing the drums on my desk. Owie! That one was in my reference. I don't know if you know this artist. Her name is Anaria. I don't know if she's in like London or Tokyo or was in one or the other. I don't know, but she has a song called Monstar, Starr, and it's also like a kind of a mix of a pop and metal screamo type of sound, but it does have a pop beat to it in a way. And it's got a very like kawaii Y2K Harajuku kind of aesthetic. And I was really inspired by that. Like I was already kind of like going in not a similar direction, but like when I saw her come out with that song and it just like got popular, I think on TikTok, I was like, nah, yeah, she gets it. She's also mentally ill and wants to be kawaii. I understand you. Like, you get me. That was on my reference list. And a Reza Sulian song was on there because I liked a lot of the drums and instrumentalization on that too. So yeah, those were like the inspirations when I was like, this is the beat I'm looking for. I gave like those three songs basically. There's a couple of other ones I won't mention. But like, yeah, that's just to like name a couple.
I see.
Yeah.
So
So
it was like
yeah.
early January, finished August, and then released in October. I guess with the final product, are you happy with it?
Oh yeah, honestly, the problem is I hate listening to my own voice, even in the video, and I think most people do. But even with the song, like I'll be like, wow, I love this song, but I hate listening to my own voice. It's because because I don't know, it's my voice. I feel, I guess I've always been not self-conscious, but um I've always felt weird having a high pitched voice, especially like I used to be in a punk rock band, and I'm like, well, my voice is so like not rock. It's so musical theater. Like if you hear me sing a musical theater song, there may or may not be a video either coming out or already on there of me doing something like Disney live, and you hear that and you're like, oh. Now that I hear that, compared to like her other singing, like I see what she means. Like I'm very trained in this musical theater mindset. Um, I've been like almost self-conscious to do like more rock style stuff, but I feel like with like idols and some J-rock artists out there, like I like having the high pitched voice doesn't like take away from it versus in like 2000s era pop and like 90s grunge where it's like yeah, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to injure my little vocal cords. I take very good care of them. They're my little friends. But then I listen to myself speak and it's not the way it sounds in my head and in my brain. Like singing it live, fine, easy. Like obviously I have to listen to myself when I sing it live, but like in a recording of some kind, I'm always like, oh god, that's me. But I remember first hearing like the final product and I was like, oh my god, this is so good, low key. And then every time after that is when I got self-conscious about my own voice. But well, like I try to remember like that first feeling that I got, which again, it was that similar like awake feeling that I got like when I saw Alexis or whatever, like to like call back a bit. And I was like, whoa, like this is so cool. Um so I'm very happy. I for my next song, because I want a different like vibe for it. It's already like mostly the instrumentation has already been produced for my second single. I haven't spoken too much about it because well, I haven't. I just haven't really. Well, because nobody's asked me. That's why. But I'll be upfront. It's gonna be a Jemmy song, right? So if you know what a Jemmy Memu song sounds like, you know what the vibe is. So it's gonna be even more leaning into the J-pop, but still kind of have the little techno-y, retro nostalgic MS Paint vibe, and it's still gonna be like sad. So I'm very excited for that. And I feel like I'm just gonna kind of keep leading into like upbeat bangers with like sad lyrics, I guess, because like I only know how to write about what I know. I feel like if I tried to write about something intentionally that was not like, I guess, true to myself or genuine, it just wouldn't work. And people can like, I think people can clock it when it's not like true and genuine.
Yeah.
So
like sorry. No, you go. You go first. You go first.
No, please. I don't like silences, so I keep going. Oh yeah.
So like every single time I ask like an idol, like I'm gonna ask you again, but like every single time I ask an idol for like general advice for like upcoming idols and whatever, every single time or like most of the time, it's always try to be genuine, try to be yourself. If you try to like invoke an image that isn't you, people will know for sure. So like yeah.
I mean, I agree, but yeah. That's actually not the advice I would tell people first.
Yeah.
Like, and I've talked about this before in like other interviews. Like, my number one advice to anybody that is like even remotely interested in kind of doing idol stuff is to just do it. Just start. I think, and I found myself almost doing this. A lot of people get caught up on like the debut and like wanting their first thing to be really well done and good, and you know, wanting to make a good impression and like having it all figured out before you've even gone up and done the thing. And I'm like, it's just no matter what you do, your debut show is not going to be perfect. It's not going to go the way you picture or want. I'm not saying it's going to be bad. I don't think my debut was bad by any means. I'm proud of it, but was it what I wanted or what I expected at that time? No. And did I have all my answers that I have now that like I've worked on these songs and I was like, wait, maybe I do want to actually make music. Like I didn't even realize it was something I wanted until I started like going out and performing as like MS Paint basically. So people get held back by like fear and logistics, and they use those, I think, logistics to procrastinate the scariest part, which is like going and doing the thing. And I'm like, you just got to do the thing, and like maybe you'll find out you don't even like it once you do it. So no need to stress about all these details when you just could just go and have a good time. You know what I mean? Obviously you need like bare minimum preparation, like know a song, know choreography, have a name. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think it holds a lot of people back. And people, I think, are soon, more recently, I should say, maybe this is with the boom that idol culture has gotten in the past, like, year, this year. Like, I don't know what happened, but, like, sometime early in 2024, like, it exploded. Like,
Yeah.
it just, I don't know what happened, but, like, boom. And I think it was already growing by the time, like, I debuted. But even then, there's like I see a distinct difference between 2023 and 2024 and like just the idol community in general. And I don't know, maybe I think people see all these people debuting and get intimidated and think, oh, they've been practicing for so long. And I'm like, I did not practice for that long, respectfully. I've been doing a lot of performances for a long time, to be fair, but like, I still only maybe practice a few months before my debut, which, you know, um, people will go years thinking, yeah, I plan on debuting, and then like
They never do.
they
Yeah.
never do it, right?
It's like
and
it's like with VTubing. Like, I'm gonna be a VTuber. I want to have the most perfect debut stream ever, and then they do the debut stream, and then they just never come back. So.
Right, they stress too much about the details to the point where it's like not even enjoyable at that point. So yeah, and I mean, I found that even when I was in the like V singer community, so many people put in so much work into like building idol sonas and names and lore, outfits, sprites, and then when it came to actually putting out like mixed songs, then things fell apart. Um, and I don't know if the V singer community is still like that when it comes to groups, but like, I mean, I've even seen it in like cosplay groups where like they do like a show and they like it, but then they get so caught up in like the details and the logistics that people forget like you should also just like have fun, and then things fall apart. And also things like life and schedules happen. Those are all understandable, but I mean, I don't know, just starting it. And even if you stop after that, like at least you did the thing. So, yeah, I don't know.
Catching up a teeny tiny bit. One little detail. Have you performed enough live yet or no?
I have. So I
okay.
did it at Aiden's birthday party. And I did a this is also something I haven't talked about a lot yet, but I've been doing like local, very very local. I don't want to even say where and like dox myself like that, but I've been doing some very local like performances that are not for an idol audience whatsoever, but still trying to do the same thing that I would do for an idol audience, right? Obviously, like they're not gonna know like call and mix or use penlets or whatever. Like I don't expect that. But like I performed my song, which is still, you know, has a lot of like J music elements to it and like poppy elements to it, to crowds that are not like J music crowds. And I did a preview of enough even before it was like fully composed, just to like, I don't know, get a vibe check. I'm like, okay, is this actually good or is this trash? I need to just like opinions from other musicians. And this was like a community of just other local people that like have worked on music, and they were like, no, it's like actually catchy and like the lyrics are good and like you have something here. So I kind of did like a preview in a very like local, intimate setting for some people, and then I performed the final product at Aiden's birthday live, and I don't know when I'll perform it live again. Actually, I don't have a lot of live shows planned because we talked about how many live shows I did. Like, I need a break from just not just performing live per se, but like the traveling aspect. Ugh, I did a lot of traveling this year, and a lot of traveling on top of that wasn't even related to all the idol stuff I did. So I'm just like happy to be home, and I'm gonna like try to take the time to work on like recording things, even though I'm like I hate recording things. I just want to sing live. I don't care about anything else. But like again, it's like one of those things where I'm like I'm not gonna get as many opportunities to sing live if I don't build up my online content to some extent. And I'm so bad at promoting my stuff. I'm not good at it. I need someone to help me, but I'm working on getting help because I could do a lot of things myself, but like making like reels to promote my music and stuff, meh, don't want to do it. Not interested. It's probably not even that hard. I think about doing it and then I sit down and I'm like, wow, I'd literally rather be doing anything else than editing this video right now. So yeah, I hate that. So that's something I feel like is area of growth for me right now as an idol, because I'm not trying to be like big or whatever. Like, we're idols. Like, we're not. That's not the point, right? But I want the people who are MS Paint core like me and that would like the kind of thing that I'm doing to be able to like find it and like listen to it. And I just like, where are you? I don't know where my little pixels. That's what I call my fans. I never use this because like I don't have a fan base like that. But like, if my fan base grew big enough, I'd be like, oh my god, my little pixels, my little pixel family. I don't know. But I want to find them. I want to know where they are, and I want them to listen to my song and be like, look, if you feel like you're not enough, like I see you, bro. Me too. But like I'm still doing it, so you should too, maybe. So I don't know. I'd really like to find like the people that get the vibe and want to be a part of the gang, you know, if that makes sense.
For sure. I mean, like Pengy's a pixel. I'm a pixel.
Pengy's a pixel, yeah.
So...
No way. So Pengy going, everything is such a grind after releasing Rise and
Grind,
which has fantastic bars. I don't care how unserious it is. That the post on the LinkedIn twice a week, that goes crazy hard. I'm sorry. I'm a Pengy Time fan, and Pengy's a pixel, and we're like this. We got the same brain cell for sure. I met Pengy at NWIF, so we got to pixels rise off, yes. We got to chatting there, so I was like, yes, you understand. Good business. Sorry, I do this a lot, like business. Like, I don't know other people that do it, but like you understand what I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Handshake emoji.
What else? I guess like going into like retrospect / like future plans and stuff. I kind of want to ask like, what was the toughest idol gig that you've done? Not weirdest, but like toughest.
That's a bunch of different ways I could look at that question. I think one performance I didn't talk about was I performed at do you know like the Mitsuo, the supermarket?
Oh yeah, I've been there. Yeah.
So they do a like summer festival there in like the grocery store parking lot, and this year they invited like people to apply to perform at the festival, and I was like itching for an opportunity that wasn't a convention to perform. And I love performing at conventions and doing like any song covers, but I also like am afraid of being like accidentally considered only an any song cover artist, because that's not just what I do, right? So I was really itching for like something, and obviously it's a family friendly event. I couldn't perform my music there, and honestly I'm already coming to this realization that like a lot of cons won't probably let me perform a PG-13 song. It really depends on like the timing and all these other factors, but I was like, screw it. And for that performance, I didn't think I was going to get accepted, and then I did, and I was like, oh, okay, thank you, Mitsuo Grocery Store. Shout out to you guys. H-Mart, Mitsuo,
yeah.
I hope H-Mart doesn't see that. So, yeah, performing there, it was like, I can't describe this structure, but, have you seen like taiko drummer performances?
Yeah.
And there's that platform thing that they use.
Yeah.
So I performed on top of like one of those. And I had like a speaker and mics and everything, and like you could hear me throughout the whole little parking lot festival. But like everybody was kind of like, I wish I could show you the layout to describe this better, but everyone was kind of like where all the food and the vendors were. And then in front of my little platform was like another larger area where people can crowd around and watch performances, right? And again, like if you're thinking of like a taiko drummer performance, there's like obviously more drummers than like on the platform. They're also taking up that whole space. So think of like that kind of space. If what I'm not saying is making sense, like Google.
It does.
Like
a
if you're
yeah.
okay, no, but for anyone watching that's like,
Okay.
what the hell is she talking about? Google, you'll understand. And like everyone was just kind of like speaking and doing their own thing by this food stalls, and I'm like, okay, giddy giddy I ikenai borderline, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of idol culture and shows are about like audience interaction and like vibes like that, which I love doing live. I love it. I love like emceeing. It's so fun. Doing like my silly little improv MCs is like one of my favorite things about performing, which like I feel is like weird to do in like an indie musician setting. Like if I perform at an open mic, I'm not gonna be like, "Hey everybody, how y'all doing?" Like you know what I mean? Like it's weird. It's not the right type of crowd or energy. And like this was a similar thing where I'm like, this is not an idol crowd. Like this is a crowd that knows Japanese like music, and like they could probably like they know because they were playing Japanese music when there wasn't a performer anyway, right? So.
Right.
It wasn't that it was like the wrong crowd per se, but it was not an idol crowd. And it was really weird performing in a setting that wasn't like a convention or an idol crowd where I can like find somebody and like point at them and look them in the eye and be like, I see you. Ooh. I was so far removed. And it wasn't also like musical theater where like there's the same separation, but like you're still acting. It's musical theater. Like you're in a like a setting and in a role. This was just like, okay, I'm gonna sing a song. I sang my song and they all clapped. I think people enjoyed it. Like somebody even stopped that like wasn't even in the festival. They were like, well, I was riding my bike and I heard you over my headphones and I liked it and I wanted to say good job, even though I know nothing about Japanese music. And I was like, thank you, random guy on a bicycle. It made my day, honestly. I'm like, at least this guy liked it. Like he's never gonna listen to me again or know who I am, but I'm glad I made his bike ride a little bit more interesting. But like, yeah, I was like, okay, well, cool, thanks. Here's my next song. Kimi da yo, kimi da yo. Like, it was just, it was tough because I was like, wow, the energy that I love feeding off of in a live setting, and like, it was not really there. Just like my partner, and then my one friend came in for the last song, like running because he was late, and he was like, yeah. But like it was so weird, like my one friend being in the middle with their pen lights, and I was like, so it was tough, not in a like logistical or in a performance sense, but it was tough in like a whoa, this is so different from any performance like I've done like ever. Period. Like it was just weird. Even like the dealer's room kind of hall show I did, when people did stop to like watch me, I could still like look at them and interact with them, and like I don't want to say fan service because I feel like some people take that the wrong way, but like fan service, I could not, no fan service with this show, and that was really difficult. I was like, wow, I guess I just sing my song and do my little dance and then leave, and that's kind of what I did. And I was like, cool. But nobody hated it. I never got a complaint. Like, so I guess it was good. Nobody told me, wow, you sucked. So I guess it was good. So, yeah, I guess that was the toughest one in terms of like that. I don't know what even to call that.
I guess like yeah, everyone has like a tough gig, and like if it yeah, you'll like out of it or like after you definitely learn something, right?
Yeah, I learned that there's a reason I consider myself an idol, even though I feel like branch off in so many weird directions with it. I think at the end of the day, like a lot about the idol spirit has to do with like fan participation and interaction within the live setting, and it's a lot of focus on live shows. Like going into my little closet to record things, like because I don't have the live studio like energy. I don't have like the, oh my god, I'm on a stage, people are looking at me, I have attention on me. I'm just like in my little closet with my little cosplays, you know, and I'm like, okay, cool. I guess I'm gonna sing my song now. And I don't know. And even I hear it in the song that I recorded too. Like I really tried to bring that same energy, but like I feel like me singing enough live was a whole other vibe from me just recording the song. And I guess I don't know how to mimic that same energy in a studio environment just yet.
I see. Yeah, I mean, like, it takes time, definitely. So, I guess
But
on.
I'm not patient though. That's the problem. I'm very impatient. That's one thing you should know about me. I act patient because I'm a good actor. I am not patient. So I'm working on it though. We're working on it.
I guess the other side of the spectrum. We went from toughest. How about like your favorite performance as an idol currently?
That's tough because the like Teko and Otakon, like my more like recent performances, were all like very good and solid. Something about the Teko show, and when I post the video, I think people will see it. Something about the Teko show really popped off. Like I just did way better than I thought I would. I think I even said it on stage. I was like, whoa, I practiced, like, for one of the songs, I was like, I practiced that song so many times, and this was the best time I've ever performed it. Um, and, like, again, Teko has definitely a growing idol scene, but is not anywhere near, like, Otakon level, per se. But Teko as a convention, like, definitely, like, wants to invest in idols and has the right crowd for it. And I don't remember like how big the turnout was, like maybe 30 people, but I feel like everybody that did turn out was like fully engaged like the whole time. And it was just really, it was such a vibe. And even like the show I talked about that had like 6 people, even though there were only 6 people, the 6 people that actually like stayed and stuck around, they were really involved and really engaged. Like when I like talked with them, they talked back with me. Like, I mean, if you watch that Anime NJ plus video, you'll hear them, you know, like replying to me all the time and hooting and hollering, and like they're not like, you could tell they're not like idol fans, but they like understood the assignment. And it was such a fun show. And like I thought I was gonna be upset at how few people came out, but like they were just such a good audience that like I didn't care that there was only 6 of them. I didn't care that I was in this little panel room with like 10 chairs and a wired microphone that I was like, oh god, I hope I don't trip over this mic. Like you'll see me like doing some like microphoneography with the wire because I'm trying not to trip on it. Those are a couple of my favorites. And some of my hall match shows, like the one on my birthday, again, like a way better reception than I thought, because I'm like, nobody in Florida knows who the hell I am. People in New Jersey don't know who the hell I am. I mean, maybe they do. I don't know. But I'm like, oh, who's gonna give a fuck in Florida about like this? But like again, I think it was just the right kind of audience energy. And I guess like the common denominator is all my favorite shows have had like a good audience. And I'm like, and back to like the live energy, like all my favorite shows have had like that good vibes back and forth, you know, not just in one direction or the other. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess that's sorry.
On to the next. What would you say like makes you stand out compared to the rest of the scene? What makes you, I guess, like unique?
Not to be a meme, but I'm not like other idols. Like I feel like I unintentionally give off that energy sometimes. Because it's like who gave this person the audacity to make their little serotonin call mix guide? Like what do you know about it? And like I don't know. I just thought I'd try a thing. Like I feel like I find myself struggling to compare myself to other idols, and I don't necessarily mean that in like a who's at the same like level, like performance wise or popularity wise. That's not what I mean. In terms of like vibes, I struggle to find other idols that I think have a similar vibe. Like, not to be like, oh, pink idols have a similar vibe. That's not, you know, it's obviously a little more complex than that. But like, for example, you can't really compare Phoebe and Melancholia. They're
that's
totally
two different sides of the spectrum.
but like a show with like I don't know, putting a fantasy show together, Melancholia, Pawn Ranger, Aiden, like that's a show that makes sense because they're kind of in a similar like camp, I
Right.
feel. And a show with like Phoebe, Barry, like Royal, they're kind of in a similar camp, if that makes sense. I don't know, maybe I just don't know who these idols are that are in my camp, but like I don't
Alt? Kinda? Sorta?
it's alt, but it's like it's like somewhere in the middle of that. It's like neither nor. Um so I don't think it's a bad thing. I'm not trying to label or categorize myself, but I think I kind of struggle because like sometimes it's like, oh well, if you like Alex Pinku, you will like Aiden, and if you like Aiden, you will like this, you know what I mean? um I find myself like, oh, well, I don't think anyone would go, if you like this idol, you'll like MS Paint Palette. And vice versa. It's like, well, if you like MS Paint Palette, like, what other idol would you also like? Like, what aspect of it, like, speaks to you? And maybe that's because I still am developing myself and my image as an artist a little bit. But I think, yeah, I don't know, not to be like, oh, I'm weird and I'm not like other girls, but like I don't know what else I guess makes me unique besides like me trying all these like experimental things that I just haven't seen other idols do, because I don't really like, maybe this is weird, I don't like pay attention always to what other idols do. Like if someone's my friend, they're my friend. But like if it's not, like I don't know, I'm really bad at even JP idols. I'm not really good at following other artists. I'm not good at being a fan. Unless it's somebody that's like, oh my god, I went to their performance and I cried, like Phoebe. Like I'm a Phoebe fan for
Oh
sure,
my
and even
god,
then
yeah.
and even then I'm not a good Phoebe fan. Like real Phoebe fans would be like, you're a fake fan. Like not that it's that deep, but like there are real Phoebe fans, and like I'm like here, right? So, but like I like I follow her pretty closely. Um, but like other idols, I'm like, if we're not like acquainted to some degree, I'm like, oh, I support you. I love what you do. I'm always gonna reshare and reblog things, but like I'm just like not good at being an idol fan. I think I don't know, and maybe that's a bad thing. Like I don't know. It's not good. I only started collecting Checky like recently. I felt kind of peer pressured into doing the Checky
Really?
thing. I am a little bit, because I remember being like, nah, I don't want a Checky, but thanks. And people were like, you don't want a Checky? And you're an idol fan? And I'm like, well, what am I gonna do with it? But now I have my first little, I got it here, my little Checky book. I put little stickers on it. I've been assimilated to the light, I guess. And like I think it took me going to Natsu Matsuri and seeing Izeli, and definitely was like, well, when am I gonna see her perform again in my home state? Let me get a checky, and then I'm like, well, if I get a checky of her, I gotta get a checky of everyone else too, because that's not fair. Because imagine me being like, nah, I don't want a checky, and then all of a sudden I want a checky. I'm like, oh no, I can't do that. What if that comes off the wrong way? So I'm gonna get checky now. And then I was like, okay, you know, everyone's bringing their little checky books, and I'm just like, so now I have my Checky book, but I understand it. I get it now. I understand why. And now at NWIF, I have so many Checky from that event that like I have this book like half filled just from like stuff from this year. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was a very quick, you know. Oh my god, I'm gonna see the multiple albums. Let me guess, you have two Taberu Gumi ones specifically.
Hang on. Oh shit. Hang on. This
Hanging
one
on.
specifically. This one's
Okay.
specific for Doomy. This one's for Ria. It's not filled. I'm getting those checkies like when I'm in Japan, so whatever. This is like half filled. This is half filled. Like, oh my god.
And that's a big boy. That is not
That's a
thick.
256. This is the
Oh wow.
This is version 2 of Checky Namicon. There's like 4 Aiden checkies. This is filled. This is filled to the brim. Oh my god.
Wow.
We're addicted. I'm addicted.
Like,
You're gonna be
I mean,
addicted.
I understand the collection addiction, because like it's blurred out, but like look at my stuff. Like I got a lot of stuff.
For sure.
And this is just this corner. Like there's more. This wall is only empty because all the cork boards I want to hang up are like just sitting on my floor like here, and I've just been too lazy to hang them up, even though I've been living in my current place for like almost a year now. I just have like not put them up. I've been busy. I've been
Yeah.
performing and stuff, you know? Like I haven't had time to put up a simple corkboard, you know? It's not, but yeah, so I got my first one. I got this little guy at Daiso for like $1, you know, baby's first little book. So
I think I got the same one too. I don't know what happened to it,
aw,
but like, yeah, it was from Daiso.
LMAO, yeah. I got it like literally like the day before Nuif on like day 0 because I was like, well, I saw it and I'm like, screw, I'm just gonna fill this up. Oh, and then I have this little guy, but I moved all of them into the other one. But I actually started with this little thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we talking about that he
Standing out. Compared
Oh
to
yeah. I don't know. Oh yeah. Sometimes other idols will be like, "Oh, do you know XYZ Japanese group?" And I'm like, no. And like, I'm really bad at getting into new artists. Like, I've been listening to the same songs since I was like 16 years old. I feel, and I talk about liking all this variety of stuff, but it's also like the same variety from 10 years ago, I feel. And but a friend of mine that I met in the idol scene sent me like a list of like is it, I want to say Taiwanese idol songs, kaigai idols, and I want to get into them, and the link is just sitting in my to-do list. And I'm like, I don't know why I haven't started. I'm not good at starting things. I'm very good at seeing things through once I start them. Well, like starting them, not for me. Sorry, I keep going like it's a freaking game show.
But,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess. I guess with everyone, life does get in the way of like performances. But what would you say is the most difficult part of like doing idol or idol activities?
Wow. I mean, besides the things I've already complained about, like, I like feeling the need to do XYZ. Like, sometimes I still get this, like, feeling that I'm like, oh my god. Like, obviously, I don't just stand and sing when I sing, I perform, I have stage presence or whatever. But then I'm always like, wow, I'm not putting my whole AC into dancing like I should and I could. Like, I could if I wanted to, I guess. But, like, I just love singing so much. That's like, I want to do it so much, and like I want to do it live like whenever possible, just because like I enjoy it so much, and I enjoy like also like the challenges I get, and like sometimes I even pick like complicated songs just to sing them live and like prove that I can do it. But then like, and that's easy because I like that part, but when it comes to something I don't like doing, like listen to my song, promote my song, do this, like I don't know. I don't know how to make a silly little meme and do a little TikTok dance of my song. Like the idea of like getting into like my MS Paint costume, and then I even made a little TikTok dance for the song. It goes like this, and then it goes like this, da da na na na. Like I even thought of a whole thing. I never just like started and like picked a day and filmed it and like saw that through. And again, maybe it's because of real life things, but again, it's kind of that thing of like, at some point, you do just have to like start. And this is where I find myself struggling to just start because I'm caught up in all these other like, oh, well, I have to do this. I have to put on my makeup. I have to set up a tripod. And like, I don't want to do all that. Where am I going to film it? Do I want to do it outside? Well, the weather has to be nice, so I can't do it outside. Things like that. So yeah, I find like any kind of recorded content is like a struggle for me. And like besides that, which because I feel like I've talked about it a little bit already, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I can't tell if what I'm not that I'm should be doing anything right, but like sometimes I'm like, what if I'm not like doing the right thing? Like what if I'm doing something wrong? And I tend to get caught up in that a lot in myself, and like just like continuing to be confident in myself and continuing to be like, no, you do have like value as a performer. Like you don't have to like put yourself down all the time because you're not like as perfect, or at least where you want to be with your stuff. So I kind of still struggle with the confidence. Like people tell me, wow, you're so like confident and you just put yourself out there, and I'm like, it's like half real and half not real. It's hard to explain. I definitely was not always this what's the word, like boisterous and stuff. And I was thinking like a lot of time throughout my life, like pre-idol too, to work on just like being as confident as I currently am, and I still feel like I'm not even like 100% there. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Maybe confidence is another thing besides like, oh my god, ew, recording a video, gross. Like, ugh.
Um, we touched upon it a little bit, like with general advice for idols. But do you have like any additional stuff you want to talk about with like?
Besides like just starting and being yourself, here's I guess a practical one. Sometimes I feel like the advice that's given is not always like actual practical to like skills, but when it comes to like practicing a song, regardless if it's singing or dancing, you have to practice in a safe and healthy way. Like you could practice dancing all you want, but if you don't eat and take care of your body, it's not going to do you any good, especially in the long run. Same thing with singing. Like you could practice singing a song all you want, but if you're not practicing it in a way that like is vocally healthy, right? Or in a way that like won't hurt your voice tremendously over time, it's not going to help you in the long run. And like I do understand like not everybody has like the privilege or like access to things like lessons and stuff, but at the same time it's like I hate when I hear somebody like sing, especially, and I know that they're gonna like rip their vocal cords out one day with how they're singing it. I'm like, oh my god, no, stop, don't do that. But like I'm not a vocal coach, I can't tell you how to not do that, but I'm like, no, stop doing that, stop screaming, you don't have to do it, you don't have to like, I don't know, sometimes singers try to like let's narrow down a little bit more. Sometimes singers, when they're doing a cover, try to sound too much like the original artist that has a specific like vocal like color. We'll call it a vocal color. And I'm like, no, you don't have to copy them. You could sing the song in the correct like pitch and key with the correct words without copying the artist directly. Like if I sing a Fall Out Boy song and I try to sound exactly like Patrick Stump, like that's not gonna go well for me. If I try to sound exactly like Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance and sing that song, like it's not gonna go well. Oh my god, someone asked me when's the next MS Paint palette show.
I was gonna ask that too. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's so crazy. You guys are on the same wavelength. Whoa. So next show. So again, I've been mentioning doing a lot more like local stuff, and for like my own like safety, I guess I haven't been advertising or mentioning a lot of these very low-key local things, but I think I'll have something in January, nothing in December, because I just want to focus on like recording stuff, doing the thing I don't like, recording in a studio. For the rest of this month and that month. In January though, I will do a 15-minute like local set, and definitely in February I'm gonna really try to perform at KatsuCon, but it's not a guarantee. They're not there in that process yet. Like applications are out, that's where they're at. I've applied for things like I mentioned this earlier, like I applied to anime NJ++, but it's in 2 weeks, not even, it's in less than a week almost, but I want to say like 10 days, but like unfortunately I will not be performing there, even though I performed there last year, which is a little sad. But on my social media I've explained a little bit more in depth why I'm not. And then I've applied for other things that are happening in December, but like sometimes things don't pan out. You apply for things and then they don't happen, and that's
Right.
okay. It's a little womp womp, but you know, I mean, having the privilege to perform at the Aiden Birthday Live was already like, whoa. I didn't think something like this would happen anytime soon. But now that that has happened, I want more of that, and I don't have it yet. And I'm like, no, please give me more Taiban. I want to do more of this. So yeah, I don't have any solid plans in like the next recent future, but definitely February. If I don't perform at Katsu, I will do something. I'll figure it out, because I don't know. I maybe I should be making more of my own opportunities to perform, but again, that also requires a lot of time and resources. Like it's not easy to put together like what like Idol Gateway is doing, what Ashes is doing with I don't know the name of the
World of Chaos.
World of Chaos. That's what. Oh my god, I was trying to be like, what What? I was like, Waldo? Is it
It's
Waldo?
Waldo Chaos.
I feel like I'm gonna get canceled over that name, and it's Waldo. Oh, Waldo.
Chaos.
Like, I realized it was trying to be like what it was trying to do, but I couldn't figure out what it was saying, and I was really confused. I was like, well, Wario, what I don't know. I'm a little silly. Why that's not what I studied in school. I was good at school, but I was not good at words. I was good at numbers. um, so like events like that, that are coming up, like those are not easy to put together. If you're familiar with like Eternal Hoshi, they kind of put together like Natsu Matsuri and like futuristic fields events, like things like that. I can talk really primarily about the East Coast, but then on the West Coast side, you have like Idol Party going on. Like that's also like not a small feat to organize. So it's like, oh, if I perform, I just gotta make my own show. But then it's like, ooh, I gotta make my own show. Oh, that's a lot of work. And I know because I've staffed like shows before, so I know why and how it's a lot of work. It's not that I don't have the skill set to do it. It's just that like, wow, to do that by myself when I'm already doing all this by myself, like, whoa, that's a lot more work than maybe I want to take on right now. But I don't know. Such is the point in the community, like such is the point of time that this community is at. If you understand what I'm saying, it's like idols are bigger than ever in the States. At the same time, idols are still like the nichest thing ever for like the average person.
Yeah.
So it's a weird spot where like things that used to be done worked, and now the popularity has grown, and we have to grow the community along with that. And I think we, as like a collective US idol community, are like still figuring that out along the way.
This is gonna be a twofer. I guess a 2-for-1. Since it's been like a year since you've debuted, what do you think about your tenure overall? And also, I guess on the side, you performed at NUF 2023. You staffed at 2024. Being there, I guess like overall, has the kaigai scene changed for the better within a year?
I'll start with the second question. Yes, absolutely has changed for the better. Because there's just more opportunities, not just for people to go and see idols without necessarily having to travel, not just to a convention, but like travel out of state. Like there's more things popping up in local communities that are standalone than like ever before, and it all kind of happened like this year. And obviously I can't really speak to a lot of internals about like conventions I work on, whether it's NUIF or other conventions. But I will say for conventions that are not like idol focused like NUIF is, they are slowly, I think, learning what the wants and needs of idols are. And I think there are some in conventions that are already are or willing to begin to invest in that. However, they see invest, like give like idol spaces, for example,
Right.
or like do more idol programming, right? I can't say that every con is on the same page, but at the same time, every con has its own like struggles and trials, and maybe not every con is even ready to like set their toes in, because you know it's like priorities is fix certain things before going into doing new things, right? So I think just by the sheer like amount of events that are happening both outside of communities and the more actual conventions that are willing to invest in this programming is growing, then it's absolutely changed for the better. But at the same time, I think the idol community is starting to like how do I put this, like not have an identity crisis per se, but I think it's hard because the whole point of being an idol is like not feeling the need to fit a label, and yet I feel like the greater community wants a little bit to label an idol a little bit, which is not necessarily a bad or good thing, you know what I mean? It's like I think people want to know like what defines an idol, and I think again we the collective idol community are still working on figuring out like what that difference is, because it's not just any one thing I feel that defines an idol, you know what I mean?
Right.
So while it's growing and like changing, I think for the better, as we grow and change for the better, we're going to be presented with like new like opportunities for growth, I'll call them, and new challenges. that we'll have to tackle as a greater community. Um, and but that's like with any good thing comes like its challenges. So, like I'd never say it's changed for the worse, you know? Like I haven't been here long enough to give that kind of like perspective either. Compared to idols that have been performing, like I'll pick Phoebe because I love her. Like, like as long as like Phoebe, Melon, Paida, like all those idols, um, you know, maybe to a certain extent they might be able to give a better answer just because of the sheer time they've been in this community. Where I feel like in the 2 years I've been in the community, like I've seen a rapid growth, but I also wasn't like as around for some of the earlier stages either. I feel like I joined at a weird in between time, if that makes sense, by debuting in 2023 because it's before this big 2024 boom. But I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff happened before I knew Kaigai Idols existed in 2022 that I just don't know about. People will be like, "Oh, you don't know about this?" And I'm like, "What? Like, I wasn't here for that." Well, yeah, this happened like a couple years ago. I was like, I wasn't here. I was doing school, man. I don't know. So I don't know if that makes sense.
It
But,
does. It does. Yeah.
Yeah. As for the tenure question, sorry this is weird, but like, can you get more specific on what you mean by that so I can answer
Like,
the question better?
overall, from 2023, now presenting, debuting there, and now up to your like latest performance, which I would think is Aiden's birthday live,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
That
so
was my most recent one.
overall, how do you feel about everything that has happened?
Oh, like, I think I've grown a lot. I think I'm a better performer than I was when I debuted. And again, that's not to say my debut was bad, but like, I've learned a lot of like stamina in particular was like the challenge I noticed right away. And I feel like I've tackled that so well. Like, again, when you see my, I think like Techo performance, I don't know, those 45 minutes like fly by. They flew by for me. And I just kind of like, I mean, I stop a little bit, but like, I don't know. Once something Chakra was unlocked, and I like figured it out how to like keep it up. And like since my Techo show, I've had like very little stamina issues since, and I'm like, yes, I tackled like my biggest problem and roadblock thus far, and now I'm like working on my next roadblock, which is like not really related to live performances, but more related to like more behind the scenes stuff, I guess. And I think sooner or later I will find some way to overcome that, and maybe it will be because of the help of other people. And I think that's okay. You know, I feel like um I have a tendency to be hyper independent, and I think there's some like it's ideal to feel like, wow, this person does everything themselves, but like you've heard my music. My mental health is not that great. I cannot do everything myself. I'm not capable. I would love to, and I want to think I'm capable, but like I can't do all these things behind the scenes and creatively without the expense of like my health and sanity, unfortunately. Um and I don't know, maybe some people are doing it and people don't see behind the scenes the expense that it could have on a person or individual, and some people are just able to do it and they kill it. I don't know, but I feel like I've grown a lot. I'm happy with the growth. I'm happy with the plans that I have. I have a lot of optimism for the future. I feel like I am also a little bit scared. And I think that just goes down to me continuing to not be confident. But like, I don't know. When I do a show, I always feel like really good about it, and I never used to feel that way about performing. Period. I used to like do like musical theater and do my thing and be like, that sucked. Even if it didn't suck, I'd be like, wow, that was trash. That was awful. And now I'm like, no, wait, that was actually pretty good. Like, yes, could I work on these things and get better? Sure, but that doesn't mean it was bad. So I feel like I'm not like where I want to be, but I'm enjoying the journey. I think I have a lot of um value as an idol, I guess. Maybe value is not the right word, but I think you know what I'm trying to say
Yeah,
by that.
like
And
potential, I
I
guess.
just like yeah, like potential, but also like where I am now and where I can go. It's a bit
Right.
of both. Like I still think even now, while I still think there's like room for growth, I still think I put on a kick-ass show now. I just need to figure out how to convince other people that I put on kick-ass shows if you let me. And it's a little weird and it's a little different, and maybe it's not for everyone. And I guess I'm trying to balance, like, I don't know. I'm fighting the need and the desire, not the need and desire. Like, I'm fighting the urge to, like, feel like I need to meet a certain, like, standard or be a certain thing. Like how we were talking about being genuine. Like, I'm committed to being genuine, but, like, there are always things that pull me, and they're like, well, maybe if you weren't so weird with your set lists, maybe you'd get more opportunities, or maybe if you made a, you know, family-friendly song, you could perform it at conventions more, maybe this, or maybe that, and I guess that's kind of, like, another thing I'm struggling with right now. And I'm very open about the things I struggle with as a performer. But I also try to, like, see the positives, like I'm a good singer, I'm a good dancer, and I shouldn't, like, bring myself down for things that I know I'm good at, and I should take the things that I'm, like, not good at as, like, a challenge and a chance to grow over anything else.
I see.
I feel like I don't know if that answers the question.
It does.
But it's
It does.
That's, like, the best way. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a long road to, I guess, like, achieve, like, what you want to achieve for sure. But, like,
yeah,
you'll
I mean,
get
like
there.
I said, I've been doing
Oh.
a lot shorter of a time. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Right.
What happened?
Oh,
What happened?
the webcam feed kind of broke, but totally.
Oh, no.
We're back. We're back. It's fine. It's fine. I think we're fine.
Guess who's back? MS Paint. Tell a friend. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm really good at improv. I'm not good at writing, so I just have to, like, take my improv moments and then write them down. So.
I guess, like, one more thing. We have time. Any
Yeah, I'm down to clown.
any bucket list things that you want to achieve in your idol career?
Yes, I do. Besides my many songs, and I know I mentioned the Persona one, but I don't know, maybe a Love Live set would be cool, but, like, who hasn't done that? That's so different. I'd love to do, I don't know, like, I'd love to do a lot of specific, like, this is the MS Paint Annie song show, and now this is the MS Paint, like, Persona show, and this is the MS Paint, like, punk rock show, and then have other shows where I'm like, you don't know what you're gonna get. So, I guess goal one, I guess, is to just, like, continue performing live. Like, I'm taking a bit of a break, and I don't necessarily want to perform as much as I did in the past year and change, but I want to continue a trajectory of, like, doing more performances. So the goal one is, like, keep doing what I'm doing, right? I feel like that's important. Goal two is next year, a new song's coming out. Whether I like it or not, I'm gonna release it. Lyrics are written, instrumentals are done. All I have to is record my vocals and have them, like, mix the vocals into it. And I'll tell you right now, I'm releasing it July 4th. I will sing it live for them, but I'll be so real with you. It's an anti-capitalism anthem, so I have to release it on the Freedom Day as a token of irony. So that's gonna happen. Even though, like, I was nervous to release this, all the anxiety I had releasing this song, I won't go into it right now, because I'm planning at some point to do, like, a special, like, behind the scenes stream about the song process. And I'll talk about some of the things I did here, but there's, like, a lot, you know. The anxiety I had releasing this song, even though it was all done and, like, it just needed to, like, go live, I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And I'm already feeling that pre-anxiety with this next song, even though I have no, like, real reason to. Just because it's like, oh my god, I'm putting this creative thing out there. Oh no. So that's goal number 2, is release that damn song. Goal number 3 is just to, like, be better about promoting my music overall and, like, improve, like, using social media, I guess. And again, it's not something I want to do, but if I want to perform live, and I feel like I have to, like, prove myself a little bit online to perform live, to, like, not to other, like, idols or whatever, but to, like, people that organize events that, like, don't know who the hell I am. Like, if you don't already know me, you have no reason to be like, oh, well, why should you perform? You know what I mean? So I think one thing I want to do to help with that is to like build my online presence a little bit more, even though it kind of sounds like my worst nightmare. And then yeah, I know. I'm like trying to like find something for an algorithm. Like I love algorithms, but when I have to like figure out the algorithm without code, don't want to do it. Sounds like a nightmare. And then what other goals do I have? This is like a not a next year goal, but like I'd love a custom outfit, like a special like performance outfit I wear every show. Right now I kind of wear like themed outfits, like this kind of thing I would wear live. I wore this with other things in like my Techo show, but I'd love an MS Paint outfit. It's just like I don't know if I'm ready to like invest in that. Costumes are not cheap.
They are no.
No, and honestly, neither is a lot of like even hiring an instrumentalist. Like it's not cheap, and I have like side gigs that I use to help like finance some of the activities I do, which is helpful. But you know, I want a costume. I don't feel like I'm ready to like invest in one just yet. Other goals I have as an idol. Oh, a full length album is, again, this is not a next year goal, but it is a goal I want to do. Even if I have to put in a bunch of off vocals to make it a full length. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I'd love to do a full length album, and then my last goal. Oh yeah, no, yeah, live band. Sorry, Free Horse Saucer reminded me. I want to perform with a live band, 100%. I've already been talking to people about it. It's a whole thing that I want to do, but again, it's like, oh wow, working with other people, ooh, so, but there's a lot of like, because I like rock songs, so I love live like instrumentals a lot. Like even when I go to a concert, if I'm like listening to somebody sing to a track, I'm like, it's all right, but like I don't know, like a live like band, like I don't know, man, it's just like my the chakras open and like I ascend to the heavens a little bit and it shakes me up my core. Like there's nothing wrong with the track. I'll perform to my own song with a track. Like it's not, but like a band, like oh. And I used to perform with a band like casually, and it was just cool. I love the idea of doing MS Paint Palette shows with a live band, especially because like with all the instruments on stage, I don't have to dance. I could just sing and do my thing. So, and then at some point, I really want to be a guest at a convention or like a headlining event. I don't think it's a next year goal. I don't know if that'll ever happen, or if it does, when it'll happen. It might take another like 3 years, but like I think an ultimate goal would be like being a headliner or a guest or something. That would like that'd blow my mind. I'm like, you want me? Huh? Little old me? But I think if I keep going at it at the pace I'm doing and I keep putting work in, keep getting better, build my presence behind the scenes a little bit too, I think I can maybe get there one day. Even if it's just like headlining my own like little birthday live, I would consider that a W. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a bit of an attention whore, I gotta admit.
No, come on, don't say that. Don't say that.
I'm an idol. Come on. I love being on stage. I love attention. It's one of my favorite things about being an idol. Truly, I love the attention. So to be like the center of attention for something positive, obviously, love it. Love it. I don't know. But I'm honest. I'm well aware that I'm like this. But yeah, no. I like the idea of like headlining act, big lames. Like I used to want to be on Broadway when I was a kid. Like come on. Like I have a little bit of that still in my dreams somewhere in the back of my mind. But yeah, I think those are like a pretty good set of like closer term goals and some long term goals that I'm kind of working towards. And like I feel like people need goals at some point to like work towards. Like how and when you achieve those goals, like you have to do it at your own pace and your own time. But I feel like if you don't have a goal, you don't have like a direction, and it's important to have like a direction, whatever direction that is, because like progress I think has to like be made to some extent. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does. It did.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we talked about labels within the kaigai scene, but we kind of went a little bit into it during Gumi's panel during Nwif,
Yeah.
where she talked about like the differences with the kaigai scene and the JP scene. But like, what do you want to see more, or like what improvements do you want to see from the kaigai idol scene?
Improvements is I don't know if that's the word I'd use, but I want to see more local events. And I think we talked about this a little at the Gumi panel, but obviously the people watching were not
They were
necessarily
there,
there
no.
for that.
No.
America is a big ass country.
Way too big.
To fly from one end to the other takes way too long, right? And there are some communities that have this idol culture more built up than others. And I think California is where it's at, like in particular because of where it's at. It has a like Asian population and also a lot of like Asian like culture that has bled into like popular culture there. Oh, I hit my mic. Shall we? I'm shall we, little guy. Um, and I feel like while idol cultures are being built up in other places, not every place is like um has like a I don't know, a population like that, if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Personally live in a predominantly like Asian area, sort of, without like giving too much away. Um, so like in my specific like backyard, I would say there's like things growing there. Like basically where Eternal Hoshi does a lot of their activities. That's kind of the area in New Jersey where I'm at, right? So, and there's a little scene building there, but like I'd love to see that more in like local places, so like idol performances can become like accessible to everybody, because I think people deserve a chance to see like idol style performances in their backyard. And it's hard, but I hope the community continues to focus on building up those spaces, but at the same time, while not totally abandoning the convention scene. Obviously, convention scenes are still very like Japanese culture oriented, and again, not every convention understands the needs that idols have to like put on a performance quite yet. But we all got some kind of exposure or start, I feel, in spaces like a convention. And if it wasn't a convention, some other like area where like Asian culture has like bled into pop culture, right? So like I'm Latina, like I'm not like trying to tell my parents like what an idol is. They don't get it. Like it's not a thing, right? And sometimes I struggle to explain that to people a little bit. Even just like that are like indie musicians, they're like, wait, why are like you different? You know what I mean? So, but I think like local areas and keeping it, not keeping it underground, but building up the underground. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Is important, but without totally abandoning like the fact that like convention spaces are still a thing and cosplay idols, like a lot of us that are currently original acts started as cosplay idols. Hell, I still do cosplay idol stuff here and there, honestly, because I'm in this one group that I love them to death. So I love Revue Starlight to death, and nobody understands. I love a good sword lesbian. So who doesn't? Like, just watch Revue Starlight. If you like swords and lesbians, watch Revue Starlight. Thank me later, and we can yab about it later. And but yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's like I want to build up, but not while I don't want to become so like gatekeepy either. And I'm not saying that this is the direction that communities are going in, but like not every person that wants to be an idol is going to want to be like a full-time idol. Like I never intend to like go full-time. I never intend to do this as anything but like the thing I do outside my like full-time job, but at the same time I take it really seriously, and I want like opportunities at the same time to do the thing I want to do, and keep those opportunities open to new people as the community grows. Because I think we have to be really careful in the community about how we go about it, and not just be like, well, this person's been doing it the longest, so we're gonna have these performers because they're like the most quality ones, and like that's what's gonna bring in more people and more money to pay for a venue. And like it goes into like capitalism and shit, and like that's a whole other thing I could get into about like the arts and the economy. But like I think we're still in a phase where we can decide how we want that president to be. But again, we're still so small despite it exploding, which is, it's just so weird. And like anybody that's in the idol community understands it, but it's a weird thing to verbalize and explain. I don't know. So I guess I just want to see more opportunities for all types of performers, whether you're like been doing this for 5 years or you want a place to debut or you're somewhere in the middle, you know?
Right. I see. I guess one last thing before we take it home.
Bringing it home, boys.
Bringing it home. What would the current you tell the MS Paint palette that was about to go on stage for now presenting 2023?
I'm gonna slay, bitch. That's what I would have said. You're gonna kill that. You're gonna eat, and you will only leave a couple of crumbs. Not no crumbs, but that's okay. You can leave a couple of crumbs. Sorry, that was like my actual first response that came to my head. But I mean, I probably would have told her that. I don't know. I would have told her like that you're doing the right thing, I guess. Like, because before like deciding to do this, I was trying to do more like community theater, and I was just not getting like opportunities to perform as often as I wanted to. And I'm not gonna go into like the whole community theater aspect of this thing, and like, you know, why is it so hard to like land an audition, right? That's a whole conversation, and we're definitely over 2 hours now.
That's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine.
No.
Beat Aiden's time length.
Oh
It's
my
totally
god,
fine.
Aiden, get wrecked. I'm coming for you, bro. Sorry. I don't know. Without going into it, like if you're not the right type, quote unquote, for a role, you won't get casted. Even if you could like sing the role perfectly and dance what needs to be danced and choreographed for that role perfectly. And there's so much talent in this community, and I know there's a lot of talent in the idol community that just needs to be unlocked, right? People just need to like get up there and do it, or like realize this is a community that exists and like this is a thing you can do, etc. But I was just finding so many less opportunities to perform because like there are just people that like looked more right for a part. And that kind of sounds like weird and wrong if you're not in a theater space, but like it's just a thing, and it's not a bad thing inherently. It's a great thing that in the community theater scene we have so much talent that like directors can even be a little picky and be like, okay, who's really gonna like look good for this role, and we could put on like quality level productions that could be affordable to somebody without them having to go to like New York City for a professional production. Like those are expensive as hell. Like I know, I see Broadway shows. I know. So I love that for the community, but it tends not to work out for me because like I am Latina, I am fairer skinned for someone like who is fully Latina, and you know, there are certain parts that are written for certain kinds of characters, and I just tend to not like look or fit that vibe or style for all these characters. Like you could say, oh well, you're Latina, do In the Heights, but like, you know, if you have the opportunity to get somebody that like really presents more Latina, I as a director would also go for that person, right? Because you're trying to tell a specific story about a specific like community and audience, right? So I don't disagree with that. But it doesn't help me to be not like a type, and it's like, oh, I'm not like a princessy type. I am not like a best friend whatever kind of type. I am not a like you could go on and on. And I got kind of frustrated because I'm like, well, I want to perform and I want to do these things, and I'm not mad when I don't get casted for something if I'm not the right thing. But there's only so many shows going on. There's only so many places I could travel to after work to do like 3 hours of rehearsal, 4 days a week, you know? And I was just tired of like not finding opportunities for myself to be creative, and like that's kind of where I found the idol community as that opportunity for me to like not only sing and perform, but sing and perform what I wanted to on top of that. Like, whoa, crazy concept, wild. And I say it somewhat sarcastically, but also somewhat seriously, because I was like, I should have just done this in the first place, because like I feel like the direct like effort I put into like working harder reflects and shows itself as I perform more and as I'm given more opportunities and things like that. Versus like again, the skill level with theater has gotten to such a peak where it's like everybody's good. So directors can be kind of picky about who they want to cast and stuff. So, and that's what I don't know. I want that quality level for the idol community on a local level where people can see a quality concert without having to like travel very far and have it be like in an intimate idol-y setting. Um, but at the same time, I don't want it to be like so competitive that it doesn't allow room for people that don't necessarily like fit the bill. And I say fit the bill, and I don't mean like, oh well, you're not a classic, pink image color idol. I mean, like I don't even know if I quite fit the bill as an alt idol either. Going back to the labels, right? So, um, yeah, I don't know. I kind of forget what the original question was.
What would the current UTEL
Yeah. Okay. So
debut?
right. So right. No. There was a point. Point I was trying to make is I would probably tell her that she was doing the right thing to kind of like step back from that community and constantly like relying on other people to grant her, past me, these opportunities to perform when I had the capability to do that myself all along, and I just needed to like find the community that I fit in and like do the thing. And like because I was just getting kind of tired of it, of all the auditions and the rejection. And like sure, I still like sign up for things now, and I don't want to say get rejected, because usually they just like with idol stuff, if you apply to something, sometimes if it's not a convention, they might not like reach back out to you at all, which that's fine. I get it. It's hard putting on a show. Not everyone's gonna get like a rejection email or whatever. I don't really care. But I like just the constant rejection and having that like kill my confidence so much over the years was like it's hard. Like I can't change how I look. I can't change my like type per se. And you shouldn't. Nobody should change like who they are. Going back to being genuine and stuff, but it's just I guess at that time was not working out for me in like a theater aspect, and I don't know. I think it was like not risky, but I definitely like had a lot less experience performing as myself than I do as like a thespian. And I'd probably tell her something on the lines of like, this is gonna grant you like so many more opportunities to like not just perform, but to like be creative and learn more about yourself and like improve on things like you didn't even know you needed to improve upon as a performer. And like just being able to do so much has like helped me get so much better that I'm able to translate the skills I've even learned here by performing as an idol back into doing theater stuff. Like I just got off of doing a show, which I haven't done a musical in like over 2 years at least, which wow, crazy actually. And like I used to do like a lot of shows. I don't know. It's a weird relationship I have with theater right now, but I'd probably tell the person like, even though you're sacrificing like being able to do like the theater thing, which is like something and it's something safer, like I would just tell her she's like doing the right thing, all of that in mind. So because like like if I'm performing at like I'm just gonna use Katsu as an example. If I'm performing at KatsuCon and I audition for a show, and one of the show weekends is the weekend at KatsuCon, like I can't do both. It's like it's not physically possible. So I really, going into this idol journey, had to choose what I was doing if I was gonna do theater or do idol stuff. And it was for me, it felt a little like risky in terms of like, oh my god, am I like really gonna be able to like do this? You know what I'm saying? So probably something along those lines. I don't know, maybe that's not like a standard answer, but I don't know. I knew I was gonna perform well. I wouldn't tell myself, oh yeah, you're gonna do great. Like I don't know. I think I would have probably said something along like the lines of like the bigger implications of like the idol community and what it's done for me as a performer, and also just like the friends I've made in the community. Honestly, that's been really like in my personal life, like, so I'm so grateful and for them, and I value all the friendships really that I've made in this community, from the people I'm like just acquaintances with to like people that I'm like bestie, I know where you live kind of, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I knew that was gonna be a long yappy answer.
No, that's fine. This is IDOLEYEZ. We love yappers. We totally
Yippee!
love yappers. So
I'm Yap City right here, Yap City, New Jersey.
So, yeah, I guess this concludes this episode of IDOLEYEZ, but we have of course, a tradition, always, forever, called the worst pep talk ever, where for 1 minute and some change, I give the guests the absolute worst, absolute horrible, terrible, no good pep talk ever. So, for 1 minute. There we go. mspaintpalette, Marie, government name Marie. Honestly, I love the stuff that you're doing. I love enough. Honestly, like the covers are really good. Honestly, just keep doing, pull out deep cuts. Like I was not expecting Prima Donna. I was not expecting MCR, so that's fine. Honestly, even if it's not a crowd pleaser, whatever. If it's a good song, if you sing good, if you perform it well, people are gonna love it. Yeah. Garden State Pride. We love Jersey people. But yeah, I look forward to whatever you like, whenever you perform. I don't know if I can go because I'm on the West Coast, but if there's video, I'll definitely watch it. If you have another song coming out July 4th, I'll definitely listen to it. I'll definitely promote it. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and you definitely have the potential to definitely, step up and, be, I guess, a bigger figure in the community. That's all. And that was minute 11. So, yeah.
Yippee! Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. I'm glad that you think I got what it takes. I don't know.
You do.
I feel like that's like a very New Yorker, like, you got the chops, kid. You got what it takes. You're gonna make it here. You can make it anywhere if you make it here.
But yeah, you definitely, like, even though if you've been here for like a year, or like as an active idol for like a year, you definitely are rising up for sure. I do love Enough. I love that style of music. So,
thanks.
and
I'm glad. I like it too. Wow.
And the lyrics are, the lyrics, even if it's like upbeat, instrum, and then like the lyrics are kind of whoa, oh my god, it's a good contrast. So, yeah, that's all. And
thank you, Aggie.
And thank you, government name Marie, mspaintpalette.
That's not even my government name. That's what's the funniest thing about it.
Not government name Marie. I don't know what to call you. Let's shorten
Marie. Just Marie. I don't know. Paint.
Thank you so much for being on the show. It has been a long time coming, and we finished the story. I know it's been like 6 months since Ashes recommended you, since
Thank
government
you,
name
Ashes.
Andrew Ando saw you
thank
at
you,
CPAC.
Ando.
So we're finally here. We finally finished the story, and it was a good interview. It's probably one of my favorites.
Really?
Favorite IDOLEYEZ interviews are definitely when people talk a lot. So, like Melancholia, Aiden, Pengy, you. I love you guys.
Yapper City. Yapper 101. Take some fucking notes, kids. Sorry. It's okay. Not everybody's a yapper. And you know what? Us yappers need listeners like you.
Yeah. Well, this concludes this episode of IDOLEYEZ. But next week, nothing's set in stone, but we might be going back to Australia. We might be doing a small Aussie Open arc again. Who knows? It's not really set in stone. I really need to DM people. But if anything, yeah, look forward to that. Australia again. Missing some people from last time, but we're gonna get them on, hopefully.
Crikey.
What else? Oh, if you haven't followed MS Paint, follow them. The card has every single social media. YouTube,
Has everything. My
Bandcamp, merch. That reminds me, I have to buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, please pre-order the CD so I can actually make them. That would be so nice.
Yeah.
I feel bad asking people to shill, but it's like
You have the floor. Chill. It's fine.
oh, not to be like give me your money, but like until I can figure out how to do things myself, hiring great composers who deserve money for their work is not cheap. And to continue to do that and support other musicians within this community and also give other idols money for Checky. I mean, money. Like, we have to. I don't know if you've heard the community is passing around the same $5.
Yeah, they are.
Like, I think we could pass around the same $30. I think we could really step it up, no, but like, I don't know. I'm very lucky to be able to like finance a lot of the things I do out of pocket. And it's a great privilege that I'm able to be able to do that. Truly, I really, really recognize that. And it do be in an economy, but like, hey, when that Christmas money comes in, the pre-orders will still be open, baby. That's all I'm saying. And my birthday is December 22nd. I have a throne wish list, and it's really hard having a birthday next to Christmas because people are like, oh yeah, what's that? It's a Jesus birthday. No Marie birthday.
Marie birthday.
Who's that? And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So, but if you cannot support me by shilling it out, shill out those streams if you can, or I don't know.
Bandcamp.
Give me them Spotify pennies. Oh, actually, yeah, Bandcamp is.
Yeah, Bandcamp Fridays. Buy on Bandcamp Fridays whenever they happen. So
yeah, but I get it. It do be an economy, so I understand, and I still love you, even if you cannot pre-order a CD. You're still a valid pixel to me. So.
Yeah. So that, this definitely concludes this episode of IDOLEYEZ. Thank you, mspaint, for being on the show. Tune in next week. I don't know whenever it happens. I'll probably announce it on Twitter. I really need to make an Instagram. And rat. I think that's a rat. Is that
No, it's the sad hamster that goes.
Hamster. Okay.
Sorry, the hamster's saying goodbye. It doesn't have arms. This wasn't, but it's saying goodbye.
But yeah, that'll be it for today. VOD will be up on the YouTube channel tomorrow around 3 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. PST. And take care, brush hair, be kind, rewind. We'll be going to our ending screen now. Bye. Why?